Maria and I have been married 23 years this year. When they talk about the good times or the honeymoon period of any marriage, our honeymoon period lasted 7 years approximately, or at least until the children came along. And then, like every marriage, we had our rocky times. There were aspects of both our personalities which got in the way of our relationship. My wife had her father's tendencies, along with a bad temper. Of my faults, it was in January of 2005 when I was well over 40 years of age that I took up smoking a pipe. Now, this baffled Maria, my wife, as we were both non-smokers when we met. And to date, smoking of any kind is very much against my wife's constitution, and she can't stand smoke or secondhand smoking. Yet, for my side of the story, I believe pipe smoking saved me. I didn't take up smoking a pipe lightly. I did my research beforehand, and I certainly believe that the most harm from smoking comes from the smoking of cigarettes, which are packed with chemicals, dangerous chemicals at that, many of which are banned substances in terms of being used as weapons for war. And for many years, anyway, before I ever took up the pipe, I was attracted to pipe smoking. My father had pipes at home, which I never saw him smoke. I've only known him to smoke cigarettes and cigars. But his pipes were on a pipe rack on the mantelpiece over the fireplace in the sitting room at Barnawee. And my uncle, Graham Murphy, who married my father's youngest sister, Nicola, was an avid pipe smoker all the time I've known him, and I believe he still is. And also, when I was with Sigma Security back in the mid-90s, I had a colleague whose name is Steve Poulton. He too is an avid pipe smoker. So much for my pipe smoking. As I said, it's very much a hobby for me. It's never a habit. And yet the marriage continues, and please God will do so for years to come. Having said that, should the marriage fail completely and we do go our separate ways, Maria and I will certainly marry again should the occasion arise that I meet somebody. Certainly most marriages have rocky periods. My parents divorced after 30 years marriage. With my father going on to remarry an American woman he met in Africa, where he worked as a volunteer for 8 years. Rita, his second wife, was a volunteer with the same VMM group, and they met in Nairobi in Kenya where my father spent 6 years, and a further 2 years they both spent in Malawi before they came away from Africa. My father has now been remarried since December 1998. And of my mother, well, she has been on her own for the last 20 years. Yet she's happy at that, never wishing to remarry.